Hey everyone, my name is Robert Plank from backupcreator.com, and today we're going to set up WordPress multi-site. Now, many of you might already have WordPress blogs, and when you set up WordPress, you just have one blog. You can add plugins, you can add pages, you can add posts, people can leave comments, but WordPress multi-site allows you to kind of control multiple blogs in one place. It allows you to just have one set of files, just one basic WordPress installation, but then you have multiple databases set up. And this is really cool because you can do things like if you want to add a new plugin, you can apply this to all of the sites in what's called your network. If you want to host multiple WordPress sites for people, even allow them to sign up for their own account, WordPress multi-site will allow you to do this. If you want to update your plugins, update WordPress, you only have to update in one place, and now all of your sites are now updated. Now, it's basically like if you've seen these services like blogger.com, like wordpress.com, where they will host your blog for you. You can pretty much set up a service like this. Now, it means that these sites on the network, they're all basically separate WordPress installations, and you can be the one who administers all of them, or you can allow people to individually run their own blogs, and within those blogs, they can do pretty much anything that you can do normally in WordPress. Add plugins, add content, add members, take payments, all that good stuff. And we're going to set that up right now, right in front of you. We're going to set up WordPress multi-site. So let me go over the steps to set this up, just because this is probably the first time that you're seeing this. First of all, we want to set up subdomains. And this means that we're going to set everything up on a domain called membershipnewbie.com. That's just a web address that I use for a lot of my testing, and we're going to give people the ability to add their own site on top of Membership Newbie. So they can add, my name's Robert, so we can add robert.membershipnewbie, and we're also going to give people the ability to park a domain name. So that means that, let's say that I own the domain name copynewbie.com. Well, what I can do is I can just point my domain name to you, and then even though it's its own .com name, it's hosted in your network. So this is pretty cool because, I mean, what if you had 10 different domain names, 10 different WordPress blogs? Well, now you can just combine them into one multi-site network, and now you can administer them all from one location. So we're going to set up subdomains so that we can create a different web address for every blog. And then what we're going to do is, actually, we don't even have to install any new software. We add one thing. We have to edit a file and add one little line to that file, and that will enable all of these multi-site features in WordPress. And once that's enabled, we have to actually go log into WordPress and click a button to turn it on. And then after that, we pretty much just follow the instructions that appear on the screen. They are going to say, put this file here, put that file here, and once that's done, then I'm going to show you how you could administer an entire network in just one place. And things like must-use plugins, so you can actually require certain plugins to be run. Now, here's what's really cool is that when you install a plugin in a multi-site network, you have to install it at the network admin. That's pretty much the root. That's the main site of your network. And then anyone else who owns a site under your network, they cannot add new themes or plugins. They have to use the themes and plugins that you set up, and now you can force them to use those plugins, or they can choose to turn them on or off. Pretty cool. So that means that you can set up a site and allow them to use a membership plugin, allow them to use a forum plugin, but they don't have to if they don't want to. Now, on the other hand, you can set up a backup plugin as a must-use plugin, and now they will always have access to that menu, and they have no way of turning that plugin off. So I'm just going to show you the back end of the network administrator, and then I'm going to show you how to add sites to your network, how to what's called map domains to different sites in your network. So that means that if you don't want to have a subdomain, you don't want to have robert.membershipnewbie.com, if you don't want to have copy.membershipnewbie.com, you can park a whole new .com name, such as copynewbie.com, onto a WordPress multi-site network. And then I'm going to show you Well, let's say that you want to set up hundreds or thousands of sites. What if you wanted to give anyone the ability to sign up for your blog network and set up their own site? How do you scale it? You have to use a special plugin, and that will enable you to host as many sites, thousands or tens of thousands of WordPress sites that you want. And you can charge people for these, you can make them free, you can choose to only allow certain people that you choose to make these sites. You have total control, and we're going to look at all of that right now. We're going to use the cPanel, and I'm just going to assume that you have a web host that allows you to use this. So pretty much you go to whatever your site is.com, membershipnewbie.com, and then you add /cpanel, C-P-A-N-E-L, to your web address to get. As you can see, the web host I use is HostGator. I think they charge $9 a month or something like that, and they give you everything you need to not only install WordPress, but manage your site very easily, very effectively. So we're going to go to whateveroursiteis.com /cpanel. And well, let's look at our notes. Let's see what we have to do. Well, to get started, we have to add subdomains. We have to add what are called wildcards. And so what that means is we want at some point to be able to have a site like robert.membershipnewbie.com. And so what I want you to do is actually type that in. Type in your name .yourwebsite.com, and if it doesn't load, then we have to turn on subdomains. Don't worry, it's really easy. So try this out. It doesn't load. We have to go to subdomains. So scroll down, find it near the bottom, find the domains subdomains menu. So once again, we're at our cPanel. We're going to domains subdomains. Click on that, and we're going to add star.whatever.com. That's all we have to do. That will turn on wildcards. So click on, make this star.whatever.com, click on create, give it a second to load, and then now it says star.membershipnewbie.com has been created. And now let's try to go to say like Robert1, and now it looks like the page actually loads for us. And if we go to membershipnewbie.com, just the normal page, well, at least it gives us a not found, right? We try like this. All right, cool, now it works. So if you look at, we go to membershipnewbie.com, it takes us to this page, and then we can type in anything we want .membershipnewbie.com, and it takes us back to this page. That's what we want. That's what wildcards are. Now we can put in whatever .oursite.com, and now it takes us back to the same place. Now it does not error out for us. So that was the first step. So we just went in our cPanel, went to the subdomains area, and added star.oursite.com, and now whatever we type in as a subdomain, this part's a subdomain, now it'll take us back to our site. That's the first step. So now we have to install WordPress and add something special to the config file. So let me just do that right now. I actually don't have anything on this site at the moment, so I'm going to set up WordPress really quickly. I'm going to go to Fantastico Deluxe. I'm going to go to WordPress. I'm going to say new installation, and then I'll just set this up at the root level at the top of my site. So I'm going to put in my username. I'm going to put in my password. We'll just make one up right here. Finish installation. And now we have a WordPress site set up. And I'm just going to assume that you already had a WordPress site set up. And if you don't know how to do that, really easy. Just go to Fantastico, WordPress, fill out the form, and it will make the whole site for you. This seems to be taking a second to load here, but as soon as this page loads, we'll be able to log into WordPress. And so we've just set up, let me try this again, we've just set up a single WordPress site. And we are going to log in, and we're going to make one little tiny change to that site to make it a multi-site network. Here we go. It just took a second. So I'm going to put in my login details, and we will log in to the dashboard, the back end of the site. So basically, it says you just set up this site, click on this link, pretty much go to your site /wp-admin, and that will take you to the dashboard, the back end of your site. So right now, let's just see what we have. We have a pretty normal run-of-the-mill WordPress site, and there's not much on it. The default theme, the default plugins, all that good stuff, not much to see here, right? But we want to make this entire network. We want to be able to host multiple blogs in one place. We want to allow people to be able to join this network to make their own sites, and we want to be able to host all of it for them. So what we have to do is we have to edit the WordPress config file and add this little thing that's called allow multisite. And if those are a lot of words, that sounds scary, don't worry. What we're going to do is just search for WordPress multisite. And that will give us the exact code we need. So just search WordPress multisite. The very first link should be on wordpress.org. And they're going to give you a bunch of detailed instructions, but pretty much we're looking for this. They're going to say you want to open up wp-config.php and then add this. So let's do that right now. Let's go back to our control panel. Remember, that's membershipnewbie.com/cpanel. And then we're looking for the file manager. Here we go, file manager. And we'll just open that up. So we're at the top level of our site, and we're looking for this wp-config.php file because, as we said, it says open up wp-config.php and add in this little line. So let's go here, go to wp-config.php, click on edit, and just click on that. And then this will allow us to edit the file, and we're going to scroll down, and what we're going to do is look for where it says that's all, stop editing. We're going to add in our extra little thing here. So we're going to go back here, and remember, to get here we searched for WordPress multisite. This is the page that came up, and then they say add this. So we're going to select this, right click and copy. We'll switch back to our file manager, go here, right click and paste. And then when we click Save Changes, well, now that's all we had to do. So we went into File Manager, edited wp-config.php, and then copied this little line of code here to the wp-config.php file, just like it said. All right. So now that that is set up, what's the next step? Well, we're going to go back in our dashboard and look for a new menu that's Tools Network Setup. So let me show you what I mean. Is we logged into our dashboard, I go into /wp-admin, and there's this Tools area, but you see, when we first set it up, it only had the menus Tools, Import, Export. I'm going to hit the refresh button, and now we have these three things. But now we have this other sub-tab called Network. So we're going to click on that. And what they'll do is, they say, first of all, do you want to have the site be whatever.com/site1 and whatever.com/site2, or do you want to have this be site1.membershipnewbie.com and site2.membershipnewbie.com? Now remember how we went in and we typed in whatever.membershipnewbie.com? Well, that was the reason why, so that we can have subdomains for this. Now, if you didn't set that up, if you messed that up or you skipped that step, then you won't have this choice. You'll be forced to have membership newbie / whatever the name of the site is. So I like to have the subdomain, so we're going to choose that. And then we're going to say, well, what are we going to call our network? I mean, like, the name of the network for blogger.com is blogger.com. Like, you have, WordPress.com. You have sites like Tumblr, right? So Tumblr is, let me just show you what a site like Tumblr is, tumblr.com. It's pretty much a multi-user WordPress site, but people can only post certain kinds of things. They can post a photo, they can post a simple blog entry, they can post a link. It's mostly for photos, but I mean, think about it. Someone has a site like this, and they host multiple kinds of things. Like there's like someone's hosting a basketball Tumblr, and they can just have multiple blog posts, and they just post different pictures, stuff like that. All right, so I mean, we can, if we want to have a certain separate domain name, we can always park it. But for now, let's just have subdomain names, and we're going to call this membership newbie. And let's just say that we're making, let's say we're making a network of hosted WordPress membership sites. That'd be pretty cool, right? Click on install. All right. So now they say, well, you have to edit config.php again, you have to create a directory called blogs.dir, and you have to add this to a .htaccess file. I know that seems like a lot of scary stuff, but we're just going to do this in File Manager, and it'll be really easy. So let's just go through the steps. First of all, create a blogs.dir directory at home member public HTML wp content /blogs.dir. So let's go there right now. We're at public HTML on the left side, wp content, and they just want us to say new folder, call this blogs.dir. There you go. Problem solved. That's step number 1. Now they say add this to your wp-config.php file. So we'll just go and I think we can just select all. So right click, select all. I'll click again, go copy. We'll go to the file manager and we'll find that wp-config. So click on that, click on edit once again. Just click through if it gives you a notice. And so remember how we added this? Well, we're not going to need this anymore. Okay, this is just the thing that says I want to set up a multi-site network. So delete that, right click, and then paste in the stuff it told us to paste in. So click on Save Changes. So now we've done step number 2. So we created a blogs.dir directory in the file manager. And once again, if you don't know how to get back to this, we were at membershipnewbie.com/cpanel, and we went and we found the file manager icon, which allows us to do these things, edit files, create folders. Okay, so we created the folder blogs.dir, we copied and pasted this code into wp-config, and finally, step number 3, it says add this to your .htaccess file. So right click, select all, right click, copy. And we're going to look, here we go, .htaccess, and you might not see this. If you don't see this, then I think you can just say new file, type in .htaccess, click on create new file, and then a file will appear right here. But for some reason we have a file here. Let's just see what's in there. Click on edit, click on edit again. There's nothing in here. So actually let me just delete the htaccess. Okay, so we would just go new file, dot, and don't forget this dot, okay, very important. Dot at the beginning, HTACCESS, 2 C's, 2 S's. Create new file. So here it is right here. Click on edit. And then here we go, it's blank. Right click and paste. And then we've just pasted in the stuff they told us to. Click Save Changes. And now we've completed all 3 steps. Created the directory, added this to wp-config, added this to htaccess, and now we have to try it. So you're going to have to log in again. Click on Login, and then type in the same exact username and password. And now you are logged back in. So what did we do? Well, we so far set up our subdomain, and then we did a Google search for WordPress multisite to find that allow multisite, the line of code, and the exact web page said to copy and paste that into wp-config.php. Once we had that on, then we could go to our dashboard and go to Dashboard, Tools, Network Setup. And when we clicked on that, it told us to create this folder, copy this code into this file, copy this code into that file. So you don't have to remember anything, just follow the exact instructions that are shown to you on the screen. Okay, so we've done all that, we've logged back in, and now what? Well, now we're going to be looking for a network admin menu. So let's do that. We've logged back in, and let's see if anything looks at all different. Well, we have this My Sites, but at the top right corner, you see that there's this network admin. So click on that, and this is the, see now here's the thing, is you just logged into the dashboard for membershipnewbie.com. Okay, you logged in because this is a blog right here, right? So you are the administrator. But then if you click on network admin, now you're the network administrator, and now you're managing all the sites in this network. So really important distinction here is that when we're at just -wp admin, okay, we're editing just this one site. Okay, so in your network, you have to say that one particular WordPress site is the main site. But now we go to WP admin network, and now we can administer all sites. And let's just see what kind of stuff that there is to do here. Well, we can look at what sites we have set up. We can look at which users, and we can see, well, which users control which sites, okay? And you can, just like how in WordPress you can create new administrators, you can create other people who could run your whole network, or you could create other people who just control one particular blog. And then you can set up any kind of official themes. Now here's what happens is that within your network, people have access to the themes that you provide, but they themselves cannot add new themes. Okay, because you don't want anyone to be able to add anything they want to your WordPress site. And likewise with plugins, the same deal is that you can have these plugins available. Now, as it is, anyone can turn on the Akismet plugin, anyone can turn on the Hello Dolly plugin, but they cannot add new plugins. And now here's what's really cool is you see that as we're the network administrator, you can network activate this plugin, and it says it activates this plugin for all sites in this network. So we can turn on this one plugin here, and now no one else can turn this off. Now this plugin is turned on for every single site in your network. So as I said before, let's say that you wanted to give everyone in your network the ability to back up their site. Well, now this plugin's always on, and then this is an anti-spam plugin, so maybe you want to give people the option to protect their sites from spammers, but you're not going to make it mandatory. Well, now people can just turn it on as they want. So I guess I'll show you what I mean. So right now we have one plugin that's there. It exists, but it's not turned on. We have one plugin that's turned on the whole network. So I'm going to go to Sites, and then we see there's the main site, Membership Newbie. I'm going to look at the dashboard for just that site, go to Plugins, and well, you can see here that we can turn on Akismet, but we can't delete it, and we can't, all we can do is turn it on or off. And likewise, the Hello Dolly plugin adds this little quotation here. It's always on. We can't even disable it. It's on by default. So pretty cool. And so, maybe I'll give you a little better example. So network admin, we can go plugins, add new. And let's just add like the all-in-one SEO pack. We'll say we want to force everyone to use this. So we're going to install this now. And so we're going to say network activate. Okay, so now if you look at this, we see that all-in-one SEO pack is now activated for the whole network. And then we go back to, let me just close some tabs here. We're going to go once again to Sites, click on the dashboard for Membership Newbie, and we can see here that all-in-one SEO is just part of the menu now. And if we look at plugins, well, we don't have the ability to turn it off. It's just part of the menu now. Now, if we want to turn on Akismet, we can. We can go to the settings. That's all good. If you want to turn it off, we can. But that's the difference, is that when we network activate a plugin, it's always on. If we just put a plugin in the network admin, users can turn it on or off. So that's a really important point. So you do that with themes and with plugins. So with themes, we can give them this theme. So let's see what happens if we go to the site dashboard site. We go to Appearance, Themes, and well, we only have one theme available. So let me just go to the network admin. Let's add a couple more themes. So let's go Themes, Add New, and let's just find some stuff. So let me just add this Shell Light. So we'll just install this. So this is what's pretty cool. Is that so with the network admin, we have, well, the default theme is 2010 because we've network enabled it. So let me just go back to this main site. So we're at Membership Newbie. We can go to Appearance Theme just like any other WordPress blog, but the thing is that we can't add new themes, and it looks like we have to enable it network-wide. So let me go back to Network Admin. Let me go to Themes, Network Enable. Okay, cool. So now both these themes, all right, so that's how it works. So both these themes are network enabled. So now if we go back to our dashboard site, go to Appearance Themes, well, now people can choose between the 2010 theme, which is right here, or they can activate this Shell Light theme, which is right here, but they can't add their own. They have to use what we give them. All right, so that is what we've done for setting up a network-wide theme. All right, so I hope we switch back and forth enough for you to get it. Is that at any time, if you want to get back to taking care of all the sites in your network, you go here, you click on Network Admin, and then now you're back here. And I mean, there's not much you can do in the Network Admin. You can pretty much control your site's users, that kind of stuff. But you can't. You have to actually go into a site to, for example, add a new blog post. And we're going to get back to these other things here, like the, well, I guess let's get to it right now. So far, we've looked at, well, in the dashboard, basically you click on Network Admin, you get to this page, and you can add sites, and you can add users. So, I mean, that's what we're looking at right now, is where we've looked at must-use, they're called MU plugins, must-use plugins, which means that what we've done is we've gone to plugins and we've network activated it. So if a plugin is network activated, they have to use it. Now, if a theme is network activated, then it's a theme that they can choose to switch to, but when a site is part of a multi-site network, they cannot add new plugins, they cannot add new themes. The other thing I hope you understood is that, well, if we go to our WP-admin, well, we're just taking care of this one site. Okay, and for example, if you go to plugins, we can't add new plugins. In order to do that, we have to go to Network Admin and control all the sites in our network. So Network Admin controls the whole big picture, and a site admin just controls one particular site. All right, so those are three important things you have to get. So now that we've kind of clicked around and understood those menus, let's go ahead and register a new site in this multi-site network, and it's really cool actually. So we're in Network Admin, and we can just go Sites, Add New, and we can create a new site. And as you can see, because we set up the subdomains, we just type in whatever the site is, .membershipnewbie.com, and that's the site. So let's say I wanted to make a site about pizza, all right? And I call a site, this is at pizza.membershipnewbie.com. I'm going to say this is all about pizza. I'm going to put in my email address here, click on Add Site, and now this will create a new site in the network. So we click on Sites again, and you can see here that we have membershipnewbie.com, but we also have this pizza site. If we go and we just visit the site, well, pizza.membershipnewbie.com. And okay, it was updating stuff. Okay, cool. So now we have this site all about pizza, and it's pizza.membershipnewbie.com as opposed to membershipnewbie.com. And remember how this has a different theme, different setup, all that stuff, but we have a different site here. Okay, so once again, let me go back and go to the site admin and the network admin. So now we have two sites in the network. We have the main site, which is membershipnewbie.com, and this other site, which is pizza.membershipnewbie.com. And if we go to the dashboard for that, well, this is its own separate WordPress blog. Now remember how we have to use the plugins that are network activated. We can enable the other plugins we want, but now we can just go ahead and add a new post to this and say pepperoni pizza, and we'll say, I think that pepperoni pizza is the best kind of pizza. And I had a little typo here. So click on Publish. And it's kind of weird that we have that long web address. We can actually go to permalinks, and we can change this to just be the post name. Just post name, okay? So if we go back to our site, visit the site, we can see that we have a blog post, and it's pizza.membershipnewbie.com / the title of that post. So pretty cool, right? Is that we can just step into one site, do whatever we want, and then step back out and look at the entire network. So here's a really cool time saver, is that, well, we can, I believe we can update. Here we go. So it's a little bit different. It's down, normally in a single site, updates near the top, and multi-site, this is near the bottom. We click on updates, and so it looks like WordPress is out of date, and this plugin's out of date, and this theme's out of date. Okay, so we're using, doesn't even say what version of WordPress we're using. I guess we have to go into an actual site to check it out. So let's go to Pizza Dashboard. we're using WordPress 3.1, latest is 3.31. So what we can do is go to Network Admin, okay, go to Updates, and then we'll just update WordPress. So now we only have one set of files for this entire network. So we're updating WordPress, and now every site in the network is now using the latest and greatest version of WordPress. We only had to update in one place. If we update the plugins, well, then now everyone's using that as well. So now we're back in the About area, and we're back in the dashboard. So let's go here, and so right now we are in the main site. So we're going to My Sites Network Admin. So it looks like in WordPress 3.3 they changed the they changed the layout, which is fine. So just to get back to Network Admin, My Sites Network Admin, and then it says we have to update the network. So let's just update everything. So now every site gets can use this. Okay. So now we're back in the Network Admin. We're going to go to Sites. Going to visit the pizza dashboard, and cool, now everyone can use the latest and greatest version of WordPress. Pretty cool stuff, right? And then to get back here, My Sites Network Admin. Okay, so that's how we set up a new site. And what we can do as well is look at users, and if we want to say, well, I want to allow, remember we set up this person Robert, maybe we'll just say, well, I want to allow Lance here to be able to take care of this site. So I'm going to say, well, I'm going to give him the login for pizza, and I'm just going to call this pizza 123, pizza 123, and I'll just open up a separate web browser so we can see what this looks like. Okay, so let's say that, well, we're going to go to pizza.membershipnewbie.com. So we've got this website, and someone's going to log in. And we'll just say, what is this? Pizza 123. So check this out. Now, this person logged in to the site, but there's no network admin. And this is the only site that they can get access to. So every time you make a new site in a WordPress multi-site network, it creates a user for that site. And now you can just give someone this one login, which was just the name pizza, and set it up and do whatever they want. Now, if we want to add a new user for a certain person, we can say, all right, let's say I want to have my friend Jason at backupcreator.com. I want to give Jason access to one site or many sites. So create only lowercase letters, so it has to be a lowercase. Username Jason at Backup Creator. Okay, so we're going to add this new user. Okay, so now what we can do is go to the sites. We can say, well, I want to give Jason the ability to access this pizza site. So click on the site, and then users, and then add user to this site. Username Jason, make him an administrator, add user. And once this finishes, we'll see in the list of users for this site, we should have Jason as an administrator for this site as well. It seems to be taking a second to save. This web host is kind of running slow tonight, but as soon as this finishes saving, this will be in the list. And here we go. Now we have the default account, and we can even delete that if we want. But now we see that Jason is an administrator of this site. So that means that, once again, we can log out from this. And we can say, well, we're once again at pizza.membershipnewbie.com. Go to login. Now we can say Jason. Let's see. Oops, I think I had the password wrong. Forgot the password. Alright, so that's okay. Let me just go back and reset Jason's password. So I'm going to go, and actually we can just go to users and then find Jason right here. And then even see in this list what sites he has access to. So maybe this one guy has access to many different sites. We can see all that in one place. So click on edit, and we'll reset his password to what I thought I had typed in, but guess not. Okay, now users have been updated. He's going to log in, cool, and here we go. He only has access to this site, but he can do anything he wants. He can add posts, he can turn on and off plugins, all that good stuff, and even go to the settings of those plugins, but that's it. Okay, so he has control over just this site, but not the entire network. Now, what we can do is we can say, well, I want to make this person a network administrator. So we might actually check this box, save that user, and now we trust this person enough to actually control everything in the every site in the network. Click on dashboard and network admin, and now Jason can log into the network admin as well. Okay, so we can go as crazy as we want with that kind of site. But so the point is that we create a site, and then it's easy enough for if you just want to use a site for our own purposes, then we just go add new, type in the subdomain, and we're done. Okay, but now let's say that we want to give a certain person access to that. Well, pretty easy. We just also go to users add new, and then you can give that person access to that one site. So we went to users add new, and then created a new user. Once it was done, then we go back to sites, edit the site we want, and then we can say users will now give this person access to this site. So all kinds of crazy stuff. And I guess one thing I want to show you too is that, well, you can create a sign up form very easily just by checking one little box. So we can go to network admin, and one thing we haven't looked at, we looked at sites, users, themes and plugins, updates even, but not the settings. And here, you can change the theme of the network, but here is the real important part, is that, well, first of all, we can allow administrators of a blog to add their own users. So, I mean, for example, you can say, well, you can host your own site, and I'm going to allow you to be able to add subscribers, be able to add other people to administer just your blog, but again, not the whole network. So there's that part, but I mean, here's what I really wanted to draw your attention to is let's allow new registrations. Okay, so by default, it's disabled. Okay, which means that you have to go in and add sites. You also have to go in and add users to sites if you want to do that. But then here we go, we can say that, well, people can register as users, but then you have to set up the site for them. You can say, well, you have set up their user account, but then once you set them up, they can add as many sites as they want. Or even cooler, they can just sign up for your whole site. So let's just turn this on. Let's just see what happens here, where we can say that someone can register as a user and also create a website. So we're going to switch this. We're going to go to the network admin. So we just went to My Sites Network Admin, Settings, and then now we can say both sites and user accounts can be registered. So we're going to click on. Actually, let me show you the difference real quick before we save the changes. We're going to go to Membership Newbie, and let me just switch this back to the defaults, just so we can see what goes on here. So I'll go to the dashboard for Membership Newbie. We're going to go to Appearance and switch back to 2010, so activate that. Okay, so let's see what we have here. We have this site, okay, and we're going to be looking on the sidebar, because right now you can log in, log out, and all that kind of stuff, but something important is going to change. Let me actually go to open this in a new, so we can just see what an end user sees, okay? So we'll go here to membershipnewbie.com in a different browser, all right? And so we can log in, but that's about it, right? So what I'm going to do is going to go to the network admin, I'm going to go to settings, and we'll say registration disabled. Well, now they can make a new site and a new user account. So click on Save Changes, and then refresh here. And see, now there's this register link. This register link appeared. So someone can look at your site, they can click on the register link, and now here we go. Get your own Membership Newbie account in seconds. And they can create a username and then an email address. Okay? So let me say that, all right, our new username is going to be Sarah, and let me just use my email address for that, and give me a site. So we created the username Sarah, click on Next, and now we can say, well, this is sarah.membershipnewbie.com. We're going to say this is Sarah's Cool Sites. Click on Sign Up. And here we go. Now Sarah's Cool Site is ready, and they have to check their email and activate it in order for it to work. Okay, so look what happened is, whoops, so it's not set up yet. I'm going to have to go into our email and check that. Looks like it ended up in my spam folder for some reason, so I'm just going to say not spam, go back here. So we have a message Just activate this here. To activate, click the link. So click this link. And cool, now the account's active. Now we're given a password to review the site. And now, here we go. Now this site at sarah.membershipnewbie.com has been created. And we said here that, oops, did we lose our, lost our password here. So let's say we're going to log in and lost our password. Let's just go and recover it. Okay, so username Sarah. Let me get it back here. Password reset. Oops. So to reset, go here. Password. Cool. So here's the thing, is that we can go to sarah.membershipnewbie.com and then we can log in. And then here we go. Now we can once again administer this site. And if the network admin adds us to a new site, or if you want to create get another membership newbie site, we can set up a new site as well. Anything else .membershipnewbie.com. So what we can do here is that so we have a site called Peaches. So fan site for Peaches the cat. Okay, create site. And now log in as Sarah once again. And so this is what's really cool, is that now we go to my site, and now this person, they can now control two different sites. Sarah.membershipnewbie.com or Peaches.membershipnewbie.com. Just like how someone can create multiple sites on Blogger, multiple sites on WordPress.com, multiple sites on Tumblr. Now they can control as many sites as they want. And if we're back here at the network admin, we can say, okay, let's look at the sites that are set up. Sarah's got these two sites. Look at the users we've got. Well, Sarah's got these two sites. Jason's got these sites. Maybe we want to delete this other thing. But I mean, so we have a bird's eye view of all the sites we have available, and one person might set up multiple sites, and then all of the users we have available, just like that. And if you say, well, I don't really like to have that ability, we can go back into settings and say, well, people can create user accounts, but I have to make a site for them. Click on Save Changes. And if we go back to this site here, let's see, visit site, log out, back to the site. So now someone can register, but we have to set up the user account for them. Okay, so that's how that setting changes things, is that we can say what's disabled, or that they can set up the user account, we have to make the site, or vice versa, or we can just make it where anyone can create as many websites as they can. Okay, so I mean, we went through a whole bunch of stuff so far, and there's one or two steps left, but I mean, what we did was we set up WordPress, set up a subdomain, changed the config file, and then went to Dashboard Tools Network Setup. It said, do this, do this, do this. So make this folder, change these files. And then we went back into settings, and we were able to switch between the administrator of one single site or the network administrator of the entire network, set our official plugins, official themes, set up our settings, and then add as many sites as we want and customize. Do we want people to be able to just add as much stuff as they want? Do we want to control it? You can do whatever you want there. And now here's something really cool, is that we set up all these sites. If you look at our site, set up sites like pizza.membershipnewbie.com, sarah.membershipnewbie.com, all that. But what if we wanted to point a whole domain name? Like, you know, we have membershipnewbie.com. What if we also owned a domain name like copynewbie.com? Okay, we want to have another .com site in this network. Very easy. We're going to go back to our HostGator, and we're going to go to Domains, Parked Domains, and we're going to add a new domain. Now, I guess I'll log into my my domain names real quick. And I don't want to get too technical, but I mean, I have a bunch of domain names, and I have membershipnewbie.com. And what I had to do is click on, and I used, by the way, namecheap.com, Namecheap. Click on the domain name, go to domain name server setup, and pretty much this ns2063.hostgator.com, that has to match what's in the cPanel. So in the cPanel on the left-hand side, they say name servers. So this has to match this pretty much. Okay, and if you don't know how to do that, ask your web host. But pretty much, we have to own the .com name, right? We have to register the .com name at what's called a registrar. So I just use namecheap.com, and I go and I grab my domain name, and then go to domain name server setup, and then I just copy in the account information name servers over to name servers. So we have to own the .com name, and it has to be pointed to our website. I'm just going to assume once again that you know how to do that. So once you own the domain name, once it's pointed to your site, we're just going to go to parked domains, and we already have a site here where we're going to say, well, our site's membershipnewbie.com, okay? And we're going to park copy newbie.com. Click on add domain, give it a second to finish. Alright, so now it's been parked. So what does that mean? Well, it means that we can go to a site like membershipnewbie.com, right? So here's this site. But we can also go to copynewbie.com, and if this loads, oops, I think maybe we didn't have this set up right. Let me go and check my name servers, manage domains. So this might actually happen to you. So copy newbie. Domain name server setup. So it's pointed to HostGator. And copynewbie.com. Okay. Okay, so it just took a second. So we go to copynewbie.com, and we'll check this out. It's already ready for us. We just typed in the domain name, and it says, hey, you're logged in as the administrator. And, well, let's set up this site. Ooh, and this didn't really come out right. All right, but I mean, let's set up this anyway. We can change it later. So what we're gonna do, actually, let me close this. So we're gonna go to the sites, okay, and we're just gonna add this in the dashboard since that seems to be easier. So we're gonna go to Sites, Add New, and right now it wants us to set up Membership Newbie. So we're just gonna, for now, set up Copy the Membership Newbie, and we're gonna say this is copywriting for newbies, and I'm going to be putting this to my email address. Let me see what email address I'm using. So I'm already using member@membershipnewbie.com. So I'm just going to say, okay, member@membershipnewbie.com, and this should just make me the administrator. So click on All Sites. So now we've added this copy.membershipnewbie.com, but we don't want that. We want it to use copynewbie.com, I think it was. So we're going to say copynewbie.com. So we just can do that. We can just change that right in there. Click on Save Changes. And now, hopefully, if we go to copynewbie.com, if we did this right, here we go. So now we go to copynewbie.com, and look at this. It's the site we just set up. And if we look in the list of all sites, well, now we have the exact domain name here. And then we can go into the dashboard for this, and we will have to log in again since it's a different domain name, so we have to remember our login here. Did this not work? Roberts, or was it lowercase? I forget. Seem to have forgotten my password. That's okay. So let's just log back into membership newbie, WP admin, your profile. Let me just reset my password here. Username Robert. Yeah. Okay, so let me try this again. Network admin, sites, copy newbie, go into the dashboard, username Robert. Seem to not be able to log in over here. So let me just go back here. I'll log in membership newbie, WP admin. And let me just check in the network admin the users. So Robert has access to copynewbie.com. Copy newbie, users, Robert, and All right, so let me go back here. Copywriting for Newbies dashboard. Try this again, Roberts and okay, well, it looks like on most sites this will work out of the box, but if you're happening on a server where you just can't log into a different domain name, we're going to have to get a special plugin. So don't worry, we're just going to search for WordPress Multisite Domain Mapping. I apologize for this extra step, but you're the one who wanted to be fancy. You're the one who wanted to be able to host multiple .com names in a network. So we're going to go to WordPress Multisite Domain Mapping, and we're looking for this domain mapping plugin. Okay, so we've got this plugin right here. I'm going to click on download version 0.5 whatever. And they tell you this, well, it requires manual installation as one file must be copied to WP-content. So let's actually look at the installation instructions. So install it into the WordPress plugins folder, but then we're going to have to move a file. So I apologize for this extra step. If you don't want to use domain names, well then just ignore this. But we're going to install this plugin. So we're going to go back to Membership Newbie, Network Admin, Plugins, Add New, Upload, and we'll choose this zip file we just grabbed. So we'll get that, install now, network activate, and now we should be able to go to domain mapping. Please copy sunrise.php to WP-content, sunrise.php, no problem. Back in the cPanel, go to File Manager, okay? And I've got to log in again, of course I do. All right, give me a second to log into my cPanel. Okay, so we're in the File Manager. We're going to WP Contents, Plugins, Domain Mapping, and they said they copy this to just plugins. So let's see, copy to plugins. So just did a right-click copy, put this into plugins, copy files, just like they said. All right, let's refresh this. Oh, WP Content. I'm sorry. So wrong place here. So we're in WP Content Plugins, WordPress MU Domain Mapping. So right-click this, copy, and they said to put this in WP-content. So right there, copy files, refresh, and then please uncomment the line define sunrise on in WP-config. So they don't make this easy on us, do they? But luckily you've got this video to help you out. So WP-config, click on edit, and let's see if they put that line of code in there. Looks like they did not. Okay, no big deal. So let's just add it to your WP config. So right click and copy. And we'll just put this right there. Right click and paste. Save changes. Let's see if that makes them happy now. Cool. So what are they doing to us now? Alright, so this looks really scary, and I've been messing around with it, and I've got it to work. But pretty much, they ask you for this thing called a server IP address. Really easy to find. Let's just go to membershipnewbie.com/cpanel. And then, once again, in the bottom left corner, they will have this IP address right here. Okay? And here it is right here, this number, with the dots. So we're going to select it, right-click, copy, paste this in the server IP address. Okay? So that's the first part. Now for domains, we need to actually manually add the domain name. And like I said, this is not the case on all servers, but if you're unfortunate enough to have this problem, then you're going to have to do this manually. So we're going to go to Sites, and what we'll do is, well, you can see how we have the Copy Newbie site right here. And if we go to the list of sites, we hover over Copy Newbie. You see at the bottom here, see this area at the bottom? It says ID equals 6. So the ID number for Copy Newbie is 6. Okay, so we'll just go back to Settings, Domains, and we'll say for site ID 6 domain copynewbie.com. And I'm sure that in the future this step won't be required, but for now you have to do that extra little step of, first of all, well, we have to get that, what's it called, WordPress, what was it called, the Multisite domain, so WordPress MU domain mapping plugin. Okay, so we'll get that plugin, and then we just, like everything else here, we follow the instructions, and it says move this file, copy that, all that crap. Okay, and then we go into domain mapping, and we have to get our server's IP addresses. Go to cPanel, go to this. If for some reason you don't see this little box, then ask your web host what your IP address is for the web server. So put that number in, very important, and then we're going to go to domain names, and then go to add a new domain, site ID and domain to get this site ID number. We go into sites, go to the site we want, hover over it, ID equals 6, so that way we can say this site is this domain. And one thing I noticed is that if you one thing you can't do is you can't have a www. All right, so it has to be just the .com name. And then if you did that, if you added the WordPress MU domain mapping plugin, you set the IP address here, you set the domain here, that should all work. You just go to My Sites Copy Newbie Dashboard. You might have to log in again, but at least now the login will actually work, right? Here you go, now we're logged in, and we only have to log in once because now it's cool. Now we can just jump back and forth from the network admin and then go directly to this other site that we have set up. So pretty cool, right? So we have done a lot of cool stuff today, setting up WordPress multi-site. You have to set up some domain wildcards, and then edit a config file. Go to Dashboard, Tools, Network Setup, and it tells you stuff to copy to get it all finalized. You create all this stuff, and then now you can basically administrate your network, which means that you can add plugins, add sites, add users, turn on plugins, add themes, figure out how people can register, set up any sites you want, map the domains. And once again, I'm sorry for having to add that plugin. And now, here's one final thing I want to tell you about, is that, well, what if you want to host thousands of sites? Well, that's not really going to work, and I don't want to get too technical on you, but let's just kind of see what happens here. If we go back to our cPanel, and there's a phpMyAdmin, you don't have to follow along this part, but I'm just going to show you what the database ends up looking like. Okay, so we're going to go into and look at what the database looks like. And so you're not going to have to know code. It will look scary at first, but I just want to show you how a multi-user site ends up storing this, because this is going to be very important if you plan on having more than a handful of sites. If you plan on having hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of WordPress sites, just like Blogger.com does. So basically, we go to our database, and, well, you see how there's this WP2? You see all these, whoops, you see that there's these database tables right here, right? Well, these, whatever, 8 or so tables, this is one of our WordPress sites. Then you go over here, and these tables, this represents another WordPress site. These tables represent another WordPress site. So, I mean, you see what happens here. You see that if we have 100 WordPress sites, we're going to have 800 different tables. Now, the reason for this is because if you ever wanted to export a site from a network and make it its own standalone site, very easy to do. But the problem is this is not scalable. So what we have to do is get a $17 plugin called Multi-DB. So we're just going to say search for WordPress Multi-DB. And it's the first one here, WPMU dev. And so basically what this plugin will do is it will spread out multiple blogs across multiple databases. And let's just click on installation, how this works. Pretty much they'll let you decide how many blogs you want. So it looks like up until 5,000 blogs you'll be fine, but if you want to have more than 5,000 blogs, they tell you how spread this across 16 different databases. If you have more than that, spread this across this many databases, and that way, I mean, otherwise it'll slow way down. So if you get past 5,000 blogs, cool. Luckily, it won't be a big issue. But have 5,000 blogs. And what will also help is to have a caching plugin like W3 Total Cache, and also tell your web host to adjust your MySQL server for high performance. That way, it'll all work pretty fast. But so if you plan on having a lot of WordPress sites within your multi-site network, you're going to want to grab this multi-DB plugin. It's not my plugin, I haven't used it, but that's what you would use to scale a WordPress multi-site site. So I hope that really helps you. If anything it doesn't make sense, just go back and watch that part of it again. But I hope you kind of get that we did have to add an extra free plugin to get the domains to map properly, but if all you want to do is just have multiple WordPress sites in one place, then it's already built into WordPress. You just have to turn on that feature, go through those couple of steps, and now you can add whatever your site is, .com/whatever, or even better, subdomain .whateveryoursiteis.com. So my name is Robert Plank, and that was how to set up a WordPress multi-site just by following a few simple instructions. My website is backupcreator.com, and that'll help you back up your standalone WordPress site or WordPress multi-site site. Check it out, Robert Plank. Get your WordPress multi-site set up right now today. Thanks for watching.